Round of applause as she comes forward. I think if you make the clap better, she will come faster.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, guests, distinguished guests. Good afternoon, leaders. Good afternoon, everyone. I don't know our titles I would have called everyone accordingly. Just permit me. It's an honor to stand before everyone here today, speaking to you on today's theme, and I don't take this honor for granted. Okay, every one of us here, we have a destination where we came from. Some people came from their houses, some traveled all the way from wherever country they came from. Some of us are students, some are workers, some are influential people, and we came from different destinations just for today's event. I want us to celebrate ourselves. Now, today's theme is from potential to influence, sub-theme becoming relevant in your generation. And from the word from potential to influence, when I heard about this theme, the first thing that came to my mind is something I would like to share with us. Now, what came to my mind is this theme is not telling us or is not asking a question, how do I become famous? Because from the word influence, I know many people will be thinking about influence, is it for influential people, or talking about influence, how to become someone influential in the society. Yes, that's aside. But now, when I heard about this theme, what came to my mind is this theme is not talking about how to become famous. How do I become famous? No. It's talking about how do I live a life that matters. Now, I will leave us with 3 keynotes. Now, the first keynote says, potential is what God gives you. Is everyone listening to me? Trust me, it's going to be a very interactive little session. I won't take much of your time. This 3 keynotes, the first one said, potential is what God gives you. Is that okay? Now, potential is what God gives you. This can be your gifts, your dreams, talents, purpose, and every other one of them. So the second one is perseverance is what keeps your potentials alive. Can you listen to me? The first one is potential is what God gives you. The second is perseverance is what keeps your potential alive. Because every dream will be tested. There are challenges. Now the third keynote is influence is what the world eventually see. Is someone listening to me? Is someone listening to me? Now, the first one says, potential is what God gives you. When you hear the word from potential to influence, firstly, you have to have a potential. Now, when I say you have, okay, the major problem the reason why a lot of people fail is not because they do not have potentials. It's because, can you listen to me? Please, let's not be distracted. The major reason why a lot of people fail is not because they don't have potentials, but because they fail to discover whom they are. Now, standing before you is a strong advocate of self-discovery. Sorry, my name is Chinedi Kamarachi Victory. I happen to be the 8th Paragon Queen Nigeria and the ambassador for the conference to this event. And I will be sharing a little story with you. Now, this is the story of my journey to the Paragon Queen Nigeria and how I went through and how I came out to be standing here today. Now, looking at me, you're seeing a crown. Looking at me, you're seeing a sash. Looking forward is a beautiful girl, Now, these 3 things are the influence. Now, behind this crown is perseverance. Behind this crown is hard work. Behind this crown is the journey of development and preparations. That That is to tell you that before you make influence, you have to make use of your potentials. Now, the Bible says in the book of Jeremiah that before you were conceived, I knew thee and I have ordained thee to be a prophet to the nation. That's to tell you that everyone sitting here, there is something inside of you. You are not empty. But the lack of discovering, can you hear me? Now let's just imagine I have a seed in my pocket. Now I have this seed for years, I don't make use of it. And this seed dies away in my pocket. Did that seed die because I don't have a seed or because I did not plant the seed? The seed died because I did not plant the seed. Because from that seed are trees that will make a very big forest, right? Now, because that seed is in my pocket and it dies, it did not die because there was no seed. It died because that seed was not planted. Now, this is your potentials. You're sitting right there, you have a potential inside of you. And you want to make influence. When you're not making use of the potential that you have. Now, I'll give us 5 P's to self-discovery. This is a practical I like to do whenever I'm talking about anything related to my advocacy self-discovery. Now, the 5 P's of self-discovery, if you can write, I will appreciate. The 5 P's to self-discovery has to do with passion, pain, purpose, potential, and processing. The first one is passion. The second one is pain. The third is purpose. The next is potential. And the last is processing. Okay, if we got that, let's take the first one, passion. Now you heard the word, you heard the theme from potential to influence. Now potential, I said earlier, it's the gifts in you. It's the seeds that you have. It's the things that you carry. Now I say that a lot of people don't fail because they don't have that seed, or they fail because they fail to make use of that seed, to plant that particular seed. Now, talking about passion. Talking about passion in self-discovery. Talking about passion. It talks about those things that you like to do. Because a lot of you ask the question, oh, how do I know what my potential is? How do I know how to find what I like to do? How do I know that, oh, yes, you said I have something inside of me. I have potentials inside of me. I want to have influence. I want to make exploits. Now, the first step to uncovering that potential is passion. The first step to uncovering that potential is passion. Now, passion are the things you like to do. Passion are the sphere of life where you find yourself. Is someone listening? Let me say, for instance, you have passion for music. You like singing. Or maybe let me say you have passion for motivation. You like to inspire people. And you have stage fright. And you let that to overwhelm you. Standing before you is a young girl that could not stand before one person to speak. But today I'm standing in front of you to speak. Nobody was born with the power of speaking skills. But you challenge yourself to get there. You challenge yourself. Because that passion is inside of you and it's boiling. And you need the word to get to know about what you do. You don't sit down there, you get up. You take that first step. Now, talking about my journey to the Paragon Queen Nigeria, right after I registered for the Paragon Queen Nigeria, the contest was ongoing after the unveiling. My mom died. My manager was like, do you want to quit? Do you want to stop? You don't want to go again? My mom's burial was December. My finale was 7th December. I had every right to quit, yeah. Everyone has the right to quit in that kind of situation. But there is one thing that stood with me. My mom will always say, never say die. That was her favorite quote. That never say die has kept me till date. That never say die has a lot to do with today. You want to make influence. and you're so eager to quit. You want to make influence. You have the potentials. And you want to make influence with your potentials. And you're so eager to quit. Forgetting that there is something in between potential and influence. And that particular thing is what? Development, preparations, behind the scenes that happen in your life, challenges. You want to step from potential and make influence when you cannot overcome challenges. Now I stood my ground because I was like, even my mom will not be happy that I quit. I mean, I have already started this journey and I don't know how to give up. Yes. At that point that you're facing those pain, just have the mindset that let this be a word you learn today, that when you face problems, tell the problem that I don't know how to give up. I want to give up, trust me. I really want to give up. But tell the problem that I'm sorry, I don't know how to give up. Now I continued my pageant. I was going through phases back and front. And after the whole thing, I was able to walk that stage. In camp, a lot was going on. I wasn't really following up with anything happening. Trust me, why I value today's event is because this is the first time I'm getting to know that there is anything called self-discovery organization. I have had this advocacy from my primary 6, and I've just had the advocacy that self-discovery is my advocacy, self-discovery is my advocacy. Even when my manager was like, oh, do girl child, I said no. Because I've seen and I've grown to know that knowing who you are has a lot to do with what you're yet to achieve. And the story behind my advocacy is a total different thing on its own. Now, when my dad took us to Cameroon, when he was still alive, we went to Cameroon, and during when we're staying there, there's this event that was hosted by Chantal Bier. That's the wife of the governor, the wife of the president, sorry. So this conference she built a very large building. I can remember this from my childhood memory. Then she pays people to get beggars from different locations. Wherever you see beggars, when you bring them to the building, they pay you for it. So this made people, both beggars, everybody, they bought machines for sewing dress, they bought wools for making woolen sweaters, they bought different things. And now they got people to teach these beggars how to actually create resources. They taught some of people that want to make wools how to make wools. They taught people that knows how to draw better. Now, every one of them started becoming good in their field. They make these things, and the things that they made inside that house was taken to the market for sale. And this was over a year we stayed there. We never saw large amounts of beggars the way we used to see again. Now, these people inside that building were actually feeding very well. They were not begging. They were living their best lives. But guess what? The funny thing no one saw in that story was that these people have been begging on the streets, homeless. They couldn't even afford a dress. But now they were in a building where they make crafts, arts, woolen sweaters, a lot of things. And these things are being sold to feed them. The funny thing there is they were actually feeding themselves. But they were on the streets. They never knew that I can actually feed myself. They never knew that I can actually afford this for myself. Now, at the end of that exercise, these people were taking care of themselves. Why in that building? Why were they outside? Because they did not discover that they could actually do something. Now, this made me to take up this as my advocacy. I was like, oh. So if I actually discover that I have these potentials, a lot can come out of it. Trust me, there's a lot of people tied to you too, that your story will impact them. There's a lot of people left for you to tell them just one word and it elevates them. Now, this boils down to my journey. When I remembered about what my mom said, I was forced to go ahead. After the whole phase of the stages of the pageant and everything, I was able to emerge the winner. on the 7th of December 2025. And immediately I was announced the winner. The first picture that appeared on my face was my mom's picture the last time I saw her. And I was like, what if I actually stopped? And trust me, Self-Discovery Organization was able to reach me after Paragon Queen Nigeria. And this is my testimony. Because I've been looking out for what advocacy really, what agency actually works with self-discovery. Because I mean, it's not an advocacy that is very, very common. It's very few. And when you tell people, they're like, no, this is not an advocacy. It's maybe what you believe in. But today, I'm a testament that this advocacy has helped and shaped me. And I'm telling you today that if you discover whom you are, that your potential will turn to influence.
Beautiful.
The potential that you've had all along, you've been keeping it to yourself. No, it's not meant for you alone to enjoy. It's not meant to sit in your pockets. You're not meant to stay in a room. You're meant to do exploits. You're meant to have influence. And influence does not come if you don't make use of what you have. Influence is not just about fame. It's about how you impact the next person. Now, when you make use of your potential and you make influence, you don't just keep the influence to yourself. Influence is not just about being famous. It's about how you are able to impact the next life. Can you beat your chest and say, I have potentials in me?
I have potential.
What if the world's greatest problem is not poverty?
What if it isn't lack of opportunity?
What if people simply haven't discovered who they were created to be?
Imagine a young person full of potential, talented, gifted, capable of greatness, yet uncertain about who they are or who they were created to become.
For years, Dr. Uchenna John observed this reality. Brilliant minds searching for purpose, communities filled
What if the world's greatest problem is not poverty?
What if it isn't lack of opportunity?
What if people simply haven't discovered who they were created to be?
Imagine a young person full of potential, talented, gifted, capable of greatness, yet uncertain about who they are or who they were created to become.
For years, Dr. Uchenna John observed this reality. Brilliant minds searching for purpose, communities filled with potentials waiting to be unlocked.
And from that burden, Self-Discovery Organization was born in 2017, built on a simple belief: when people discover purpose, lives change.
Not as an organization chasing recognition, but as a movement committed to helping people discover purpose, develop capacity, and create impact.
Because when people discover themselves, everything changes.
Lives change, families change, communities change, and eventually the world changes.
So what started as conversations about purpose and leadership soon became a movement. Students were inspired, young people were equipped, communities began to engage.
Then the vision moved beyond conversations. Children received educational support, families received assistance, communities received hope.
Over the years, the impact continued to grow. From conferences, leadership initiatives, to educational support, scholarships, family outreach programs, and community development projects.
Lives were touched, dreams were restored, opportunities were created, and futures were rewritten.
But beyond every program, there is a person.
A child returning to school, a family finding support, a young person discovering purpose.
And that is what the story has always been about: people.
Because when one person discovers purpose, the family changes.
When families change, communities change.
And when communities change, the world changes.
The greatest impact of self-discovery organization is not in the lives already touched. It's in the countless lives still waiting to be reached.
This
Is only
The beginning. What if the world's greatest problem is not poverty?
What if it isn't lack of opportunity?
What if people simply haven't discovered who they were created to be?
Imagine a young person full of potential, talented, gifted, capable of greatness, yet uncertain about who they are or who they were created to become.
For years, Dr. Uchenna John observed this reality. Brilliant minds searching for purpose, communities filled with potentials waiting to be unlocked.
And from that burden, Self-Discovery Organization was born in 2017, built on a simple belief: when people discover purpose, lives change.
Not as an organization chasing recognition, but as a movement committed to helping people discover purpose, develop capacity, and create impact.
Because when people discover themselves, everything changes.
Lives change, families change, communities change, and eventually, the world changes.
So what started as conversations about purpose and leadership soon became a movement. Students were inspired, young people were equipped, communities began to engage.
Then the vision moved beyond conversations. Children received educational support, families received assistance, communities received hope.
Over the years, the impact continued to grow. From conferences, leadership initiatives, to educational support, scholarships, family outreach programs, and community development projects.
Lives were touched, dreams were restored, opportunities were created, and futures were rewritten.
But beyond every program, there is a person.
A child returning to school, a family finding support, a young person discovering purpose.
And that is what the story has always been about: people.
Because when one person discovers purpose, the family changes.
When families change, communities change.
And when communities change, the world changes.
The greatest impact of self-discovery organization is not in the lives already touched. It's in the countless lives still waiting to be reached.
This
Is only
The beginning.
Is an amazing founder and global president. So on that note, we want to do something briefly, very briefly. So I would invite my admin to join me here. And also, let's just have Mr. Ned Kinsley, who is not just one of our speakers alone, but also the head of operations for Self-Discovery Organization globally. So we'd have them here join me to do this. And then let's all rise on our feet briefly, just for 1 minute, and then just celebrate our founder and president as he comes off stage for 1 minute, please. Just clap your hands. Come on now, come on. Can you celebrate him? Celebrate him. Make that shout bigger. Come on, make it bigger to the glory of God. And then, water, let me have that, please.
right, so over the years, I could remember the first time I saw him post something on social media, and I told him, I said, I love this. I think we were supposed to do it in memory of. From there, started amazing how somebody could actually pour out his whole being into something that is not giving him profit. Monetarily, yes. So you see him tell me, okay, we need to do things like this, and I'm asking him, how are we going to get the money? And he will tell me, God will provide. And that has been the statement all these years. And I've seen a committed boss. I've seen a committed brother. Yes, he's my brother. Okay. I've seen a committed boss, I've seen a committed brother, and I've seen a man with a large heart for the people. So I think Prosper has something else to add to this.
Okay, I think I got to know Dr. Uche in 2023. And then since then, I've just, sometimes I just sit back and, I try to just imagine what is sponsoring the whole, push and all of that. And then I could just see that he's a man that loves God. And then loving God means loving his people too. So he also loves God's people. And that's why you don't want to know what we went through to put all of this together. He was like, we just want it to be excellent. We just want young people to get better. We just want young people to begin something, begin to do something with their lives and all of that. And then, to be very frank, we put all of this together and there was no external sponsorship. It was just from, self-discovery organization. And it's something to celebrate God for because it was not small money. All right. You could see the amazing people that God helped us bring to this room, to be here. And let's just celebrate Dr. Uche and just say, Dr. Uche, we love you. And then on behalf of self-discovery organization, in fact, I think my admin got to know a few days ago, and then the head of operations also got to know a few days ago, all right, of what we're trying to put together. So on behalf of self-discovery organization, we want to present this picture frame or award to Dr. Uchenna John, who is our founder of Self-Discovery Organization Global. And then it's presented with love, honor, and appreciation for being a visionary leader and dedication to global impact. On this day at the Potential to Influence Conference, Owerri, Nigeria, 18th July 2026. And then it's a courtesy of SDO Owerri Special. Just keep clapping as we present your work. Please come and snap pictures. Please keep clapping, please. All right, so we're going to move right into what we have next. Shortly, we're going to have Dr. Uche come speak to us. And then while we're just, going on with the program, somebody very, someone of great impact in this state joined us. So I would like you to jam your hands together. Before you even hear what I have to say, just keep jamming those hands together. We have our Honorable Commissioner for Youth and Talent, right? And then he's the person of Honorable Dr. Mandela. Can you just celebrate him? This man is one of the most selfless politicians I've ever come across in my entire life. Just celebrate him. He'll be here to talk to us briefly before he leaves. All right. So before we have Dr. Uche, I want us to stand up briefly and just honor God. Let's stand, everybody. Thank you. And just honor God. It's God that has given us the ability to